Alright, this is from Friday, and we're talking about introduction to networks. Okay, we reviewed packet tracer, we talked about some issues with flash, going through the curriculum materials, and make sure you do the activities. Even if you're pretty sure you understand, you take the quiz on your own, and then the exam is scored. Alright, so we took the exam once on Friday, and the students are supposed to have it done by Thursday 3 times. Alright. We took a look at how do we move from our device or our app. You know, we've got our phones, we got PCs, we got tablets, we've got buttons for Amazon in our houses, we've got the Internet of Things. We have all these devices of some sorts that need to communicate to another location. So in between here, as it moves from your device, so until it gets to where it's going to actually be transmitted, we're going to learn about this process in this class. Okay? We're going to learn about it. We'll learn about things like TCP/IP, Transmission Control Protocol, IP Protocol. We're going to talk about Ethernet, how this information actually moves locally from one device to another before it gets into the WAN. So we're looking at those particular things. So today we talked a little bit more about the physical part, the bits. And so actually we have bits up here, right? Everything's bits. We take those bits, we send them down here. Then when we transmit them, we either put those on wire, we put them through fiber, or we send them through the air. And then we list these 2 methods. There's more than 2, but these are the 2 we talked about. Wi-Fi, locally you can send it Wi-Fi from your, let's say, your phone to some access point, or LTE, you know, 3G, 4G, where you send it from your phone to some tower somewhere. Okay? So, let's take a look here. Local area network, wide area network. Usually the distance, the geographical, and ownership typically distinguishes those. So here at NIACC, we have a LAN, local area network. All the dorms and all that can be connected here at NIACC. Okay? Inside NIACC, we actually have another LAN, the IT area. The IT area. So that's like a LAN in a LAN. It's managed by a couple of the instructors, and so it's all geographically in one particular area. Now when we move, let's say here, let's say we have traffic from a PC here, go out and look up something on Canvas. Here at Canvas we have all this information in the cloud managed by Canvas. Okay, that would be considered then, that movement then would be considered a WAN, a wide area network, because we're using a provider, the internet, and we're covering a larger geographical area. Let's talk. So we can come from a PC here, as an example, go through the internet and communicate with WebEx. Okay, you could come from a PC at home and go to Airbnb, look up a house, and make a reservation at that house at some location. We have a web server here that's managing the information, and we have a client, let's say here, that's looking up a house or setting up their house to rent out. Now, how do the providers measure this? Well, talk about a couple things. They measure it in bandwidth, and that would be bits per second. Or your phone sometimes will measure the number of bytes that it sends. So here we're talking about bits based on a certain amount of time. Here we're talking about quantity, how many bytes are being sent. You know, you have, like, I think we have a 2 gigabyte plan. But our MediaCom is millions of bits per second. I think they guarantee us 15 million bits per second. This is important. That's the down. The going up is way less. More on that later on. So we can see now the comparisons between a LAN here, a LAN, and a WAN. That makes sense? Yeah. I mean, I can be at home. Let's say this is me at home, and I can go to Google and work on things and get the information coming back here. Or I could be here at the college and go to my Google account. We have this infrastructure that allows us to move from there to there. So the bits come down, that piece of information gets sent. Here they come in, the server communicates with the bits, organizes the information, then sends it back. Into something we'll talk about later on. Okay? Now, how does that work? Well, we have protocols. We have rules for communicating, if you want to think of it that way. Rules to communicate. A good example, or an example that was easy to look at, would be the World Wide Web. The World Wide Web uses the internet. They are not the same thing. The World Wide Web uses the internet infrastructure in order to send information. How do they send it? Well, they send the information using hypertext transfer protocol. Whether they send it not encrypted or encrypted. Okay, how do they send information? We have this software called the browser, and the browser sends this code, HTML. HTML sends that code. So the HTML code with tags is sent using hypertext transfer protocol to a browser, or from a browser to a web server. So I can be at home, I can use my browser, I can send something to a web server, and it can send it back. And we use that for a ton of things nowadays. Alright, so let's finish up. It's a little hard to see. We got whiteboard reviews. If you're watching this, you already found that. I changed the order here a little bit. You know what you're supposed to have done. You should do the quiz on your own and the chapter exam. Should be done by Thursday, and then we're going to finish up all those other items on Friday. And then we'll be done with chapter 1. And you can start chapter 2 whenever you want in terms of the curriculum. And we'll have chapter 2 set up on Friday, so we can, I think we have a week or a week and a half to get chapter 2 done, something like that. And that's it.